Greetings, thank you for joining me today. It's EddieSetGo. If you are new to the channel, then please make sure to subscribe to see future motorcycle content. So today's video is part of a new series that I'm going to be running on the channel, and it's all about budget motorcycle gear. So budget motorcycle gear. I've been onto one of the very popular marketplaces. I went onto Amazon recently and I found a pair of budget motorcycle gloves that cost all of £14. So £14, $18, less than 20 bucks. I've got a pair of motorcycle gloves here, and I'm going to be having a look to see what kind of benefits they offer, what kind of protection they can offer you as a rider, and whether they really are worth, the money for perhaps a new motorcyclist getting into the world of two wheels. So these gloves are branded as Unigear gloves. These are from a company called Unigear, and we're going to be having a good look in the video to see what kind of benefits they can offer you. So, budget motorcycle gloves. There's probably a lot of experienced riders watching thinking, why are you looking at budget motorcycle options? Well, for the experienced riders, we all know the brands that we're familiar with. We know the places to go and buy them. We're comfortable with spending £50, £100, $150 on a pair of motorbike gloves. But there's a lot of new bikers out there who are just getting into the world of motorcycling. Perhaps, you're watching, you've just got a new job, a courier job, or your car's busted and you've got to get onto two wheels, or you've just got a new scooter. And you don't know really where to look, so you go on Amazon, you go on eBay, and you look for what's going there. And I actually found these on Amazon, £14, $18, and these are obviously Unigear motorcycle gloves. So what we're doing in the video is looking at what kind of protection they can offer, what kind of benefits they can offer, and whether they really are worth the money. But I think importantly, whether they're good enough to get you started in those first few weeks, months of your kind of motorcycling journey. So yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at today, these Unigear motorbike gloves, and just seeing what they're all about, really. So Unigear, I'm not really familiar with Unigear as a brand. I realised obviously what they're all about. I've looked at the branding, as you can see here on the tag. Unigear obviously corresponds to universal gear, so equipment, gear, clothing that will cross over different disciplines. So whether you're a biker, a hiker, camping, any outdoors kind of activities, I know that they're very popular. These gloves in the airsofting community, they get very good reviews as an airsofting kind of protection glove. So these gloves are kind of a do-everything glove for the budget, but they're also branded as motorbike gloves. So Unigear, they are they've got nice branding. They even offer a full 1 year complimentary warranty with them. So if you do get these, then you know that if they do fall apart on their own, that Unigear will step up and looks like they'll furnish you with a new pair of gloves, which is great. So now, when it comes to clothing, I have actually purchased a couple of items off Amazon for biking. My wife's jacket, that came off Amazon. I've bought a jacket off Amazon before. So, you don't have to go to the big sports bike shops and, your dealerships to get stuff. You can actually get some pretty good gear through the popular marketplaces. So, Unigear bike gloves. We're going to just put one on now and have a quick look and just see what they're all about. Obviously, these are a short cuff glove. They don't have a gauntlet like some other motorbike gloves do have, which come all the way up the wrist to cover over the sleeve of the jacket. These are a short cuff glove, and they have a very long bit of Velcro which kind of wraps around the wrist and secures it nice and tightly, which is quite reassuring, really. It's not going to come off in a slide. So you've got a nice bit of securing Velcro there to kind of tailor it to the size of your wrist. Obviously you can see the tag there, just on the other side, on the palm there, we've got the motorcycle icon there. So in terms of how they feel, compared to traditional bike gloves, more expensive option bike gloves, which have quite a bit of thick material, your fingers tend to feel quite snug in more expensive option bike gloves. In these gloves, in the Unigear gloves, my fingers, there's a bit of movement in there, so that's great in terms of my fingers are going to be quite cool in the summer months. But there is a bit of freedom in there, and the fabric does kind of stretch a little bit. So there is a bit of movement in there. It does make them quite comfortable. But yeah, that's what you get really. In terms of how they feel, they're very comfortable. You can feel a lot of the creases and the seams inside the glove, but it's not distracting, it's not annoying. They're quite a comfortable glove. I'm wearing a medium. I usually do wear a medium on my motorbike gloves, and so these fit quite well. My fingers are just there. So in terms of the sizing, spot on, really good sizing. In terms of protection, which is probably the key thing that most people look for when they go for a bike glove, in terms of protection, there's actually quite a surprising amount of kit on offer. So one of the key criteria I look for when I'm buying a glove is abrasion resistance. You're going to hear that a few times in the video. Abrasion resistance. If you come off the bike, one of the first things you're going to do is, if you have the luxury of time, is put your hands out. You're going to put your hands out, or whatever, however you land, and try and steady yourself, balance yourself, stop yourself. There's a lot of videos on Instagram, YouTube and all that, people doing stunts and performing tricks without any gloves on, riding at high speed without any gloves on. I can't get my head around the idea that the first thing you're going to do is put your hands out. So I'm a firm believer that any protection is better than no protection. So even a budget option like this can give you some form of protection. So that's why we'll have a good look at this now. Starting at the back of the hand. So at the back of the hand, there's a very welcome hard shell plastic across the knuckles there, you can see, which is very welcome for such a budget motorcycle glove option. These are going to provide some essential kind of abrasion resistance protection for you, and possibly even impact resistance as well. They are quite solid, they feel quite sturdy. They also really do catch the eye as soon as you put them on. Makes the glove look quite a little bit more expensive than it actually is, so they do look quite cool. So that's the knuckles there, very welcome bit of protection there from this hard shell. Coming up the fingers, there's actually some, you can see these plastic features here. Now these aren't really for armour purposes or kind of padding. They do have holes in, I think, to allow the air to get in and keep your fingers cool in the hot weather under the extreme conditions, you know. So these aren't really for kind of protection purposes, but more kind of a cool kind of airflow feature, but they do look quite cool. Coming up the rest of the finger, there's no armour for the rest of the fingers, just a bit of padding there, a bit of kind of technical textile padding, so that's pretty much what you get on the back of the hand. The knuckles are protected, you've got some features here to keep the airflow in, to keep your fingers cool, and a bit of padding for the rest of the fingers. Now on the back of the thumb, there isn't any armour or kind of extra padding there. It's essentially the fabric covering the back of the thumb. Now on traditional bike gloves, you will get armour and various other paddings there. Again, if you come down hard off the bike, you know, your thumb is quite an essential part really, and it can be quite painful if you damage it. So unfortunately, there's no real kind of extra support or padding there for the back of the thumb. There is a bit of extra padding, textile padding on the top of the thumb, but that's about it for the thumb here. On the back of the hand, on the kind of the knife edge of the hand, there isn't any padding, unfortunately. A bit of the knuckle guard does come round, you can kind of feel it just there, but there's no real dedicated padding for the back of the hand. If you do come off the bike, it is quite nice to have a bit of padding in your gloves there, and the more expensive glove options will put dedicated padding or armour there, but with these, unfortunately, there's no padding on the back side of the hand there. And in terms of protection, finally, we're going to come to the palm of the hand, the bit that's probably going to hit the ground first more than anything. You put your hands out to steady yourself. The palm of the hand is quite an important part in terms of you know, a glove providing you protection. And on the palm of the hand, you do have this textile fabric which is surrounding the rest of the glove, and there is a bit more of this kind of faux synthetic leather, plastic kind of leather on the palm of the hand. It does provide quite good grip, so in terms of holding on to the the accelerator, holding on to the handlebars. They do provide some reassuring grip there, so you're a bit more sure-footed when you ride. In terms of padding, there isn't any padding. It's essentially just another layer of fabric between you and the floor, really. So that's kind of what you get. There's no real kind of dedicated padding, which is a shame. It would be great to see some sort of just extra layer of cushioning, perhaps on the ball of the hand again, which is probably perhaps the most popular first point of impact if you come off the bike. But that's all you get, really. The textile fabric, and again this kind of faux synthetic leather coming around the palm of the hand to provide some extra grip, but I guess at the same time providing another essential layer of abrasion resistance if you do slide along the floor. And to secure the glove, there is a very nice long Velcro strap there, which you can kind of just adjust to the size of your wrist, and then wrap it around and secure it nice and tightly so you know the glove isn't going to come off. The worst thing you want to happen is to slide along the ground backwards and the glove kind of slide off. It kind of defeats the purpose. But with these, you get a very reassuring long strap of Velcro, which you can tighten nice and tight to the glove. And it's quite a large space as well. So if you do have a thick jacket, these probably go over the jacket. You can tighten them around the jacket cuff to give you an extra layer of kind of peace of mind that the glove isn't going to come off, and it's going to protect your skin as much as possible. Another benefit worth mentioning is that these gloves are kind of touch screen sensitive, so you can actually use a phone, palm device, a tablet if you need to whilst wearing the gloves. So that's quite handy actually. If you need to pull over at the side of the road, get your phone out and check where you're going or respond to a message, then you can actually do it wearing the gloves. So that's quite cool with these gloves. So there you have it, really. £14 a pair of Unigear motorcycle gloves. I think they offer a very kind of essential level of protection. You know, if you've just got yourself a new bike, you're not quite sure, you're not quite, you can't really justify spending, lots of money on a pair of gloves just yet. I think these are a great option for you. 14 quid, less than $20. You've got a pair of something between you and the road if you were to come off the bike. And that's what these gloves are really kind of aimed for, I think. I mean, I personally think if you're a rider who is doing kind of urban work, or you're riding around to your friend's house, or, you're doing a kind of a slow speed courier, maybe you've got a scooter, you're hitting the 30 mile an hour, I think for kind of inner city urban riding, stop-start kind of stuff, then these will offer you something. If you come off the bike, at those kind of speeds, you might slide a little, you might, fall off your bike. And like any kind of glove, it's great to have something between you and the road that you're going to be falling onto. Personally, I think I wouldn't be comfortable going any faster than that. If I was going to be going more open roads, 50 miles an hour, I would really seriously think about investing money in something that's going to offer a bit more protection. And I think that's kind of what this is all about, really. For new riders, you're not quite experienced yet, you haven't really kind of got your head around all the gear. I think, when you're at that level, these will offer a very essential level of protection. But as soon as your riding starts to improve and you become more confident and you start doing more and your speed starts to increase and you start, becoming a better, more progressive rider, as that curve raises in your experience, you really need to think about upping your game in terms of the gear that you're going to be wearing at the same time. As you grow as a rider, your gear really needs to kind of raise with you. So for me personally, I wouldn't wear these on a, commuting to work where I go on the open roads, on the bit of the motorway. I would really seriously think about some dedicated motorcycle gloves, something that's going to offer a bit more technical protection and other benefits as well. But I think for inner city riding, going around to your friend's house, perhaps doing a few little deliveries, things like that, those kind of stop-start kind of urban commuting kind of areas, then these gloves will offer you something, especially for the coming weeks and months, until you're confident, so you're ready to step up and get a more kind of more technical and better protective set of gloves. But yeah, when you're at the bottom level, when you're thinking, I'm getting into the world of biking, then these will be a great option for you. But so the minute you start to kind of raise your level, raise your game in terms of your ability, and the faster you're going and the more confident you get, you really need to think about investing and raising the level of the gear that you're going to be wearing as well. So, but for now, if you're looking for a pair of bike gloves, tomorrow you need a pair, then these are going to see you great. I think these are going to do a decent job in giving you some layer of protection for those coming weeks and months while you get yourself grounded into the world of motorcycling. So to sum up, would I personally get a pair of these gloves if I was just getting into biking? I would have no problems at all getting a pair of these gloves if I was just getting into the world of biking. I think that once the riding level improves and you start becoming more confident on the bike and using it more, then perhaps stepping up to a more comprehensive level of protection from a pair of gloves would be in order. But I think to start with, these will offer a great level of protection, and once you're done with them, you can actually use them for a whole host of other things as well. So Unigear motorbike gloves, I would be very confident having a pair of these, but again, it's all about knowing when your limit is. The minute that you start doing high speed riding, or you start going out from that kind of urban environment, and the kind of the risk increases, then you really should think about raising the game, raising the level of the gear that you're wearing. But I think to start with, if you need a pair of gloves tomorrow to ride your bike and get somewhere from A to B, I think these will offer some level of protection, an essential level of motorcycling protection, and I have no problem buying these. I will be doing a comparison video soon comparing these gloves to a more expensive pair of motorcycle gloves, just so you can see the kind of technology and the benefits that you get when you actually do invest like 75, 80, 100 pounds, $100 in a pair of bike gloves. But in the meantime, that kind of concludes this video. I do hope it's been of use to you. If it has, then please give a thumbs up to support the channel. You can also subscribe to see future motorcycle content. This has been EddieSetGo. Ride safe, drive safe. I'll see you next time.